privacy.
Good evening, you fucking heathens. It's me, JT Ripper.
And I'm Todd of Thunder.
And we're back with our rankings of Child's Play.
Yep, we're going to be ranking the old Chuckster.
Old Chucky, fucky Chucky. We're going to be ranking him.
Yes.
Because he's a funky little bastard.
Yes, and just to let you guys know, we will not be including the Chucky series.
No.
But we will, mention it right here, right now. I like the first season. I haven't got a chance to see any of the episodes for season 2, but
it does incorporate all of them.
Yeah, I liked the first season. I thought it was decent to be a series.
Yeah, it wasn't bad, actually. I was very surprised at the practical effects. The casting was actually really good.
Yeah.
I was kind of worried about them going woke, but they did a pretty good job. Brad Dourif coming back as the Chuckster.
Yeah, that was cool. And his daughter coming back to... she's really become a part of this series, which I think is...
pretty cool.
Pretty freaking cool, her being the daughter of Brad Dourif and everything. So.
Actually. Of course, the only thing I hate about the series, but I admire about the series at the same time, is that they do incorporate all the movies together. And I mean all the movies together.
Yeah, even the movies that we're going to talk about today that may not be our favorites.
Speaking of that, why don't we go in the... if you don't know, people, it's 8 of these movies, not including the series, which they're on season 2, by the way. We haven't checked out. We'll get to reviewing the series whenever it's finished and everything. But to kick off at number 8, I think it's unanimous. Seed of Chucky.
Absolutely. I have Seed of Chucky at number 8 myself.
Oh,
yeah,
God. What a shit show.
This was the first time that I ever watched a Chucky movie and felt sick to my goddamn stomach.
Yes. There is nothing, me and you've had this conversation, we go back and watch this every now and again in hopes to like it, or find something to like about it, and we don't.
No.
Never.
It's the exact opposite. Every time I watch this film...
I hate it more.
Yeah, I hate it more. This was the first time that I saw a Chucky film and thought to myself, "Wow, this series has went downhill so fucking fast."
Right.
It's not even amusing, to be honest with you. I mean, sometimes you can watch a film and it's so bad that it's kind of amusing that you kind of get a little kick out of it. Kind of maybe Jason X, maybe.
Yeah.
It's bad, but it's kind of amusing. This film was not amusing, and it wasn't, it was just horrible.
Just bad.
It was
bad writing, bad story. Bringing the family aspect to Chucky, you just fucking neutered Chucky. I mean,
yeah, and doing this thing where you got Jennifer Tilly, who is playing Jennifer Tilly, but also playing Tiffany the doll. But Tiffany the doll is obsessed with the real life Tiffany, and it's just, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, not to mention Red Man. You thought Busta Rhymes was bad in Halloween Resurrection. Ugh.
Yeah, he was bad, and everybody in this film was terrible. Kudos to Brad Dourif for getting a fucking paycheck. That's all I can say about Seed of Chucky.
Yeah, fuck Seed of Chucky. Don't waste your time. Actually, I think that's a movie that even you would say don't waste your time on watching.
Yeah, it's...
which is rare. Very fucking rare.
Yeah, if you don't have, an emotional attachment to this series... by far, go watch it. You'll have a good time. But if you have watched this and have an emotional attachment and you grew up with it and this film doesn't offend you, you're a better person than I am.
Right. Number 7?
On my number 7, I have Curse of Chucky.
No shit. Me too.
And I'm going to go ahead and tell you my number 6, which is Cult of Chucky. And the reason why I'm going to tell you both of them at the same time is because both of these can be interchangeable at any time.
And the funny thing is, they're exactly the same on my list.
Yeah, at any given time, this could have easily been Cult, but I went with Curse of Chucky. This was the movie that we hadn't had a Child's Play movie in a long, long time, and I was pretty excited about this film because I saw the Chucky doll, saw that they kind of got rid of the stitching on the face that they had went with in the last couple of films, and I thought they were going back to basics. And as an overall movie, they really took the approach that the first Child's Play took, which is they kind of kept Chucky in the shadows in this movie. You never really saw him do his thing all that much until the end of the film, just like the original. And that's cool and everything, but at the same time, we got so many movies of Chucky just being Chucky.
Yeah.
It was okay.
Now, Curse is where Brad Dourif's daughter gets introduced, right?
Yes, this was the first film that Brad Dourif's daughter gets introduced into the franchise. Yeah. She's in the wheelchair. She's in the house. And, of course, at the end of the film, they make it out like she's like this crazy person or whatnot, which leads us into Cult, where she is in the kind of insane asylum type of deal.
Yeah. And it's really not too much to talk about with the movies. I mean, long story short, there's multiple Chuckies. His soul can jump inner dimensions between dolls, but his original soul is in his daughter's body now.
Yeah, and the only reason I got Cult above Curse at number 6 is because there's a little bit more death scenes in Cult. There's a little bit more of that classic Chucky type of vibe to it.
Yeah,
and
same.
That's pretty much all I have to say about these bottom ranking movies.
Yeah.
So I guess we're gonna jump into number 5.
I've got the Child's Play remake.
Okay.
So a little different.
Yeah, it's different on my list. If you want to elaborate.
Well, to the horror community that hates this movie, I don't know why. I understand the doll. I'll give you the doll. The doll looks weird. But I admire them for taking a different approach to it. It was very well welcomed. It brought Chucky into a 2019 setting.
I think that's when it came out.
Yeah. Anyway, the 21st century. And people were upset with that. Okay, fuck out of here. Y'all complain y'all like things to go in different directions, but when they finally take chances, you don't like it. I think they took chances and did a really good job. And Mark Hamill doing the voice, I think, was spectacular because he was able to do this humble, loving approach, which was interesting to me. He legitimately loved Andy. And I thought that was really cool. Like, he really wanted to take care of him. He didn't want his soul. He actually loved him. I thought that was fucking brilliant. It's like, that almost like kind of that girlfriend scenario, if I can't have you, nobody can have you. And it was fucking great. And it was awesome. A lot of people didn't like, oh, it didn't have a voodoo element. No, it wasn't a serial killer. Fuck off. I mean, seriously. Like, it was good. Except for the doll. The doll looked pretty fucking goofy. But the story to me was so good that I looked past the doll after so much. But that's why it's kind of at number 5 on my list. Not saying it's bad.
All right. Well, I'll talk about it a little bit later because my number 5 is Bride of Chucky.
Almost made mine.
Bride of Chucky, I think is a great movie. Honestly, it's a different concept. Wondering where they were going to go after Child's Play 3 kind of left off.
I actually saw this in theaters.
Yeah, I didn't get to see it in theaters, but I saw it enough on when it came on television. I remember them promoting this movie on fucking WCW Nitro.
Oh my god, it used to creep me out.
Yeah, I was watching Nitro, and then Chucky came up on the big screen.
He's friends with Scott Steiner, people.
Yeah.
Who are you?
But, yeah, I have kind of a love-hate relationship with this movie. I love it because I think it's a great little film. I think it's fun, but at the same time, I fucking hate it because it gave birth to what would come later.
Right, with your cult curse and seed. Which
Yeah.
I saw in theaters, by the way. I didn't know if I told you that.
And
Fuck me.
I think that out of all the Chucky movies, this one definitely had like an awesome fucking soundtrack, with Rob Zombie and everything introduced into it. And,
Living dead girl.
but yeah, that's my number 5. Don't really have much to say about it.
All right, well, then I'll go into my number 4 because that's Bride of Chucky for me. This is probably one of the movies I actually just pop and watch more than a lot of them, being honest with you. To me, it's a fun movie. It's kind of got a nod to the Bride of Frankenstein approach to it, which I loved. I thought it was cool. It was original. I didn't know if it would work with Chucky, but they made it work. It was fun. Like you said, the soundtrack, that early 2000s metal music that we love. Yeah, it's just that's why I put it a little bit above the remake, is because I actually do go back and rewatch this movie quite often. It's very quotable, great death scenes. It's very funny. To me, it's like it takes that Chucky humor and charm, and it kind of turned it up from like what we got in part 2 and 3. And just, it's just really good. And I really like that one.
Yeah, well, my number 4 is the Child's Play remake. Yeah, like everything that you said, I agree 100% on. Do I think the doll looked funny and weird? Yes. But I think that's one of the reasons why this movie worked, is because the doll looked funny and weird.
Interesting. I never really thought about that.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of disturbing in some parts, seeing this, doll who's, it taps into that artificial intelligence type of deal.
Yeah.
And, like I said, everything that you said, I agree. We went to the theaters and saw this, and I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if I was going to walk out of the theater like raving mad, or if I was going to walk out like very satisfied. And I was, I leaned more towards satisfied. I was okay with this movie. It kept me. It was interesting, and it was shot well, and it was a good story.
Yeah.
And if I think any more harder on it than that, then I would be doing the movie a disservice, because it's not really deeper than that.
He did it for Tupac, people.
Yeah. It's not a remake, it's a re-imaging. It's taking a old concept of a film and switching it up a little bit. That's all it is, and it doesn't take away from what Brad Dourif does. It doesn't take away from the series. It doesn't take away from anything, because this was a one-off movie. Like I said, Brad Dourif is now back doing Chucky, and it's on a fucking series right now.
Right.
So this movie did not take over the franchise. We didn't go in this direction. It was just a one-off movie, and I thought it was fine.
Yeah, Hellraiser could have taken a couple pointers from it. All right, well, gonna jump into number 3. I've got actually Child's Play 88.
My number 3 is Child's Play 1988.
I'll be damn. This is one of the few series where I think that the original isn't the best. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Don't get me wrong, I love this movie. There's nothing wrong with this movie. This is an absolute cult classic and gives me the fucking shivers every time. This to me is one of those movies that scared the shit out of me as a kid. Like, out of all the ones that they got me. It was this one, mostly because my mom had like one of those dolls, and when you watch that movie and then you see that damn thing in a corner, it fucked me up for the rest of my life. I mean, I still get shivers watching this movie.
Yeah, it definitely plays on, you know, not only is this movie called Child's Play, but I think it kind of plays on the childhood fears of, you know, maybe looking at one of your toys and thinking, what about if they came to life?
Right, exactly.
You know, and, you know, this movie was directed by Tom Holland, not Spider-Man Tom Holland, but another Tom Holland who also directed the original Fright Night. So this was this is a classic. Some people might not consider this a classic. Bullshit. Chucky, whether or not anybody wants to admit it, and whether or not anybody wants to say that he's not one of the big iconic horror villains in the past 40 years, is just foolish. Because he is. He's up there. Some people might think he's stupid. He's the stupidest thing they ever saw. Fine, think what you want to, but this film, when it came out, was, you know, I think was pretty groundbreaking. But I do agree with you. I think...
Didn't they, like, advertise this movie before? Like, it got, even made?
I have no clue. I don't really know the history of this.
I think I remember reading that one time. That they put an advertisement in the paper to, like, publish it, like, to get this movie going. I don't know. I could be wrong about that, but that's going off the rails a little bit. But, yeah, jumping into number 2, I've actually got Child's Play 3.
Oddly enough, I have Child's Play 3 as well.
Ah, be damn.
Yeah, I really enjoy this movie.
Chucky's gonna be a bro.
Yeah, this one takes place at the academy. The what do you call it? What do you call those schools where you go to, like?
You're like military academy.
Yeah, it's like a military academy for younger people.
Yeah.
I love this setting. It continues the Andy storyline. Yeah. The guy that they got to play Andy, I think, did a tremendous job. This whole movie is just fucking fun. Okay? And in my opinion, the ending scene at the carnival is, I mean, goddamn, that is like one of my favorite ending scenes to a horror film. Yeah. They're chasing him through the haunted houses and everything else, and then the big I don't even know what you call it. What do you call those things that the Reaper carries?
Scythe.
Yeah, that thing comes down and slices half of his face off.
Fuck!
And then he turns around and you have that image.
Like half of his face is like sliced off.
I fucking love this movie.
Yeah.
Always
Great
have
humor.
and always will. Great humor.
It definitely picks up the humor from part 2. You know, Chucky is definitely in full effect, and I love this movie. It's just so fucking fun. It's a good time. Like, I honestly, man, between like Bride of Chucky Part 3, Part 2, like I rewatched them probably the most consistently. But Part 3 is just, I don't know, it's so enjoyable to watch. It just makes me happy watching it, but creeps me out. You know, presto, you're dead.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy
So
all the
quotable.
characters in this film. Well, I guess it's unanimous. Our number 1 is Child's Play 2.
So fucking good.
This is the ultimate Child's Play movie.
Yes, absolutely.
This is everything coming together that works. God, the characters in this movie, bringing back Andy for the film, the character of Andy played by Alex Vinson, introducing new characters that were interesting. He's in the foster family. He's continuing to be haunted by Chucky. nobody believes him. It's one of those things where nobody is believing him.
Right.
Which is typical of children because we
tend not to believe them.
Yeah, we tend not to believe them because they're more fantasy based than reality, like us adults sometimes. Although, in the world today, a lot of adults are in the fucking fantasy world, but that's for another podcast.
And you get Brad Dourif gets to be Chucky. Like, this is where Chucky becomes Chucky.
Oh yeah, the lines in this film are legendary, and the same thing that I said about Child's Play 3, the third act in the carnival. The third act in Child's Play 2,
the warehouse, in
the toy warehouse, is fucking phenomenal.
Yes. Oh my God.
Like, you can hate this film. You can hate this film up until that scene, and that whole third act would probably make you, like, reverse your decision and love this film.
Right. And the fact that they could make plastic look disgusting.
Yeah.
Like, I don't. It's something about like that hot melting plastic and like the blood and like.
I think it was mixed in with the blood that kind of done it for me.
Yeah, it's just so good, so quotable, so rewatchable. It's one of those where part 2 is better than part 1.
Yep. Well, there you have it, folks. Child's Play 2 is our number 1.
Dun, 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 dun.
So that's going to pretty much do it for our Child's Play rankings. I hope you enjoyed this. So, for Todd of Thunder,
I'm JT Ripper.
Toodaloo.
Presto, you dead.